Hello, this is Dr. Mike. This is from my CIS 2642 pen testing class. This is a quick demo of a part of vulnerability analysis 2. I say that because it's a huge topic, but we're looking at is taking a deeper dive, and I already have a lecture posted more about the overview of this. Again, we're looking at is maybe following through a scan result from a vulnerability scan. After we looked up information maybe on CVEs, if there's possible, things like that, collected our notes, we might want to take it to the next step, and we actually got to branch over into exploit. Now, this of course depends on the condition of this. So we're going to use cross-site scripting. This is definitely one for if you're doing your live project, which is a HackerOne test, or any kind of website where the condition can be tested without any kind of adverse impact to our client. So, example, if it says in the CVE or the scan result mentions, DDoS, things like that, or something that's going to buffer overflow, you can always take notes on that and then wait till later to try it out. But something like this, so I want to take the vulnerabilities and I want to take it to the next level to sort of validate it works. So we'll say here. So right now I'm running this on a virtual machine, and let's say, and this is the Chromium browser built into Burp Pro, which is fantastic. And maybe I've been browsing this site, and I've sort of made this a quick demo here. I've done this already, but you can see it comes up with a couple of ejections here. It says it's found multi-day index.php. It's found some cross-site scripting, and it's reflected. So reflected means, of course, something is fed into the page and reflects directly back. Stored would be maybe an example of a stored cross-site scripting, if that's correct. Stored is something you put into maybe a comments field, for example. Maybe it's a video, or it's a comments or questions field, guest book, things like that. If you put it in there and you reflect the page, it will automatically kick off. Now that will happen for every user that sees that page. So I might want to maybe wait or do it off time, or have the video go back and remove that comment. So that doesn't be a big deal, especially if I'm just testing cross-site scripting. I'm just going to do a very benign test, and I'll show you where I get that from. But you don't want to freak out any other users. That's the thing. And actually, it's happened to me. I actually embedded it in a page. I put Dr. Mike is a steely-eyed hacker man, I think, and I left it in there and forgot. And then all these users were seeing that, and they started hitting the help desk up with that, saying, "What's going on with this page?" And it was a comments field. So I went back and removed the comment. But this is where having notes and everything you do is very important. So anyways, you can see here, this is a reflected cross-site script from this page, index.php, set background color. So I've done just an active scan on this page, but let's say I've already done active scan on my entire site. Of course, this entire site would throw red flags everywhere. If you don't know, Miss Hill Day here, multi-day or whatever, this runs on Metasploitable too. So this thing is full of course, hackable things, and right now its security level set very low. So again, if you're curious, if you want to follow along with this, this is in the top 10. And now, of course, this is a little bit of a date. There's no longer A2, and I'll show you that in a second, cross-site scripting. But this is reflected set user background color. So maybe I go ahead and I look at the top 10 list. And you can see here, they removed cross-site scripting in with injection. So keep that in mind. If we go to injection, it's going to have information here about strings and so on. Now, of course, example attacks, SQL injection, of course, is well, it's going to be the most. But look for this OWASP testing guide here. And the best thing to do is just do this. Control F and look for cross-site. And then you can say, test for reflected cross-site scripting. So I'll click on that, and you can see right here, there we go. This is a fantastic utility. Again, OWASP, I know. If you're taking my custom person, I pour over OWASP. I love OWASP. They're a fantastic resource. Even better is I can actually have here's an actual script test I want to do. So I've already copied that to my clipboard. But even this, what is this? Invasion cheat sheets for filters, because you can encode your scripting alerts. Try different encodings. If you're getting nothing's working, but somehow the the scanner may have found it. Also, you can look at the scanner results too, so how it actually found it. Oops, let's go back up here. So if it has examples of the advisory, so like in burp, come on, there we go. Burp will show you the request and the response. And you might not see it in the response. There you go. So it actually says it did the script alert right here. The request, so you can see the request. Now you can take this, you can decode this if you wanted to. This is actually, looks like it was encoded for, it's like HTML encoding. We're going to run a simple test. So first off, before you jump in and start copying and pasting this, I'm going to use the testing guide. Now a big note here again, this Chromium browser is hooked into right here. I launched it via Open Browser from the Pro version. So I don't want to do any testing in this browser. Running a test here might actually show errors. Show possible issues, and it might not actually be that. So you don't want to do any kind of false positives. So first thing I do is I'm going to open maybe a different tool, and I have this actually open a VM here. So here I have Zap open. I ran Zap against the thing, and it actually says I found the same thing. It says I found cross-site scripting reflected. Here's a page I found it in. Again, and I did a very focused scan. I actually went in and I pasted that whole URL into the main thing here, and said scan. And I didn't update. I have not updated this. So yeah, this is 2.1.1. This is like a whole version old. But in any case, it still worked. So first off, again, if you want to launch Zap, it needs to be updated. Update your tools. Always good to keep your tools updated. But yeah, this is version 2.11.1. But still, it found it. It said it found it here. Here's what it ran. JavaScript alert equals this. So and it gives you information here, tells you about it, references, and so on. This is great stuff here, by the way. Check it out. Look at this. OWASP injection top 10. This is older, of course. 2021 it says. AO3 2021 injection. So you have references here to put in there. You have descriptions. You can copy and paste. Put those things in your notes. But you might find yourself to go in when you do a report for your client. You already have a description of what a cross-site script is. And even if your client is maybe a web developer, you think, well, they should know what that means. Don't assume that. It's okay to have a quick blurb about it somewhere in the top of the summary of the findings before you dive in and show where you found it at. Show the URL, maybe show your attack. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to open a different browser. This is open independently. This is here we have this is open directly. This is not through Zap, so I'll close Zap for now. And if I would use, I probably would copy and paste information or do a Zap report on that. And again, I would do something in burp. But to get your screenshot, so you have the URL here. I'm going to paste that in here, and voila. So I have an alert dialog. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and take a screenshot of this, probably a screenshot of the one before. So a couple of screenshots here. And that is really what we want. So now I could do it here in burp, but I don't. The idea is you might get results that are not, might show up again in your scan results as an extra error, and you need to mark as false positive. So you don't want to pollute the burp browser with any testing. Do that outside within your own browser. So that's it. Yeah, I mean that's it. So there's a screenshot, and of course I've had clients say, well, what's the big deal? So it makes an alert page. This is a very benign test or example. What you need to tell them is, and you use, of course, information from OWASP, best practices, descriptions about why this is bad, is I could create a URL with this inside there and have that posted somewhere else. So the client or the user will see the URL and say, oh, I trust this website. It's maybe, of course, it's not 192.168.31.32. It's going to be the company name.com. You're going to leverage that trust, and you're going to maybe post a link or send it somewhere or give it to somebody that does this. Now, it's not going to do an alert dialog. What it means is I can run any script I want. And so if we go back, and we look at the impact of it, we can do things like, besides doing it here in 1, 2, 3, we can capture cookies, we can bypass stuff. Say we capture, we actually can send cookies to another browser, and cookies can be all cookies. So, be prepared to maybe explain why maybe your test was very simple. So here you can see this is a very simple test. This is actually almost what you would put in your report with a screenshot underneath it. You can see I have alert whatever 1, 2, 3, 4, or maybe my name or whatever, and you can see it actually executed. And then you can go into more into OWASP, or even the reports given by burp, and say, why is this in background? Here, so again, the idea is this: you can maliciously do URLs and so on within using the company's website. So yeah, this one's where it's hard to explain to them because they might think, "What's the big deal? This is on the client side." Well, I don't know. We're not protecting the end users, and we're losing the trust given from our URL or our namesake. So, and actually did the same thing, and they came like, okay, that makes sense, and they were able to fix it. So, like remediation again, burp. I can't say enough for burp. You find using burp to find cross-site scripting. Here's some CWEs. Information for vulnerability classifications, issue mediations. Again, if you take in 2640, the Security Plus class, injections of all types. A SQL injection is when there's no encoding or filtering of user inputs to a database, so like a search. And cross-site scripting is the same thing, but it's to a page. So. But it is an injection, both of them, in its full form here. So, and of course, using the best practices, you can say there's built-in. Usually, most languages have built-in functional libraries that will do filtering or parameterization of inputs. So, never trust user inputs. So that's one of the biggest things. Always filter those things and check, and don't allow certain types of character sets, and don't allow even with encoding those character sets, and so on. So again, I know I'm going past just showing you how I kicked off and validated that pop-up for the page, but also going to start grabbing your notes about issue details, the background, and remediation. Copy and paste this stuff into your notes. You might find it very helpful later on when it comes to reporting. Anyways, that's a quick demo. Thank you for watching.